This is a KGW News Special Edition.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at 3 o'clock. We begin with the rising number of COVID cases and the impact on Oregon hospitals. Elective surgeries have to be delayed in some cases, but they don't feel so elective to the people who need them. Pat Doris reports on the move to conserve space for COVID patients.
With the surging Delta strain of the COVID virus making more people sick, Oregon hospital beds are beginning to fill up once again with COVID patients. It's not a crisis yet, but the direction it's moving is not good. In Southern Oregon, the Asante Group, with 3 hospitals, is treating 60 people who are very sick with COVID. Lauren Van Sickle is a spokesperson.
It's a huge number. Our peak back in December was around 61, so we're seeing those numbers inching closer to that. And the scary part, though, is the 1st of July, about a month from past month, we had between 8 and 10 a day.
Hospitals do try to keep relatively full year-round, but with the increase in COVID patients, Asante and others are starting to hold off on some surgeries that would keep people overnight for recovery. They're concerned more COVID patients are on the way.
Unfortunately, I think our community is under-vaccinated as far as the percentage. And we're really stressing how important it is to get vaccinated, to stay out of the hospital, especially with the Delta variant being as highly contagious as it is.
The Oregon Health Authority posts information on hospital capacity on its website. This chart was last updated July 30th. Let's start on the lower section, which shows how many regular hospital beds are available and how many full for different regions of the state. The big orange line represents Region 1, which includes the Portland area with lots of hospital beds. It shows 1,870 beds are occupied and 102 are available. As we move to the smaller hospitals around the state, you'll see there are fewer beds available. Still, as of July 30th, when this was posted, there are 385 regular hospital beds total available in Oregon. The top graphic involves ICU beds, which are reserved for the sickest of patients. In the Portland area, there were 57 beds available, but fewer around the rest of the state. Overall, though, the number of ICU beds open July 30th was 104. Pat Doris, KGW News.
Well, experts are worried about one group with low vaccination rates, and that's pregnant women. Only 16% have gotten the COVID vaccine. Experts say that pregnant women have an increased risk of complications and death if they get COVID. 2 organizations representing obstetricians say the vaccine is safe for women who are expecting. While medical experts continue to promote vaccines as the best way to fight COVID-19, there's plenty of pushback online. Tim Gordon talked with a public health communications professional trying to combat misinformation on social media.
Misinformation is nothing new, but the internet and a pandemic have allowed it to spread like wildfire. You can see it in responses to data-driven posts about the benefits of vaccines on the Clark County Public Health Facebook page. One person wrote, "People following this nonsense are deceived." Another wrote, "This is a dangerously misleading post." That presents a challenge for people like Marissa Armstrong, who is Senior Communications Specialist with Public Health. She tries to see it as an opportunity.
People are surrounded by misinformation and they're seeing it everywhere. And it gives us a chance to correct misinformation and provide people with accurate information and science-based information.
But it is not easy when people respond with links to articles like this, featuring a doctor who has been widely criticized for putting out misinformation. I asked,
is there ever a bridge too far that you say, I can't let this stay up, or no?
A lot of our policies for commenting on our page are really around, if it crosses that line of threatening or harassment.
Free speech online and finding a balance with providing a place to learn the truth about the coronavirus. Armstrong says things have actually gotten better.
Early on, you would just see a lot of misinformation, but we're starting to see more and more people kind of come out and say, that's wrong, that's not true, or providing their own links, to the CDC or other reliable sources to push back.
Pushback coming from a woman who says her unvaccinated uncle nearly died from COVID, writing, "Unfortunately, most people putting up a fuss about vaccines and masks are going to learn the hard way." Or a man who writes, Thank you for keeping us updated. You guys help us maintain what safety measures we need to take, and that is so important, even if there are those who think otherwise. It's that kind of support that keeps public health communicators like Armstrong going.
We keep trying to get accurate information out. We keep trying to counter the misinformation and really just emphasize to people that the vaccines are going to be the best way to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself out of the hospital, and prevent death.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Let's turn now to the housing crisis and a new development over the weekend. The federal moratorium stopping millions of evictions nationwide has expired. The Biden administration today reportedly called on states to implement protections and get government aid to renters faster. In Oregon and Washington, here's what tenants behind on rent because of the pandemic need to know. You are still covered by local protections as long as you've applied for assistance. In Washington, assuming that you've applied, you're covered until the end of September. Across Oregon, renters can show proof of their application to their landlord that would protect them for the next 60 days. In Multnomah County, that proof protects a renter for 90 days. Officials say that more people are getting their money too. Tanner Noland lives in Vancouver. He says officials in Washington just sent his landlord a check to cover 10 months of back rent so he and his daughter could stay.
How did it hit you when you realized your rent had been paid?
I mean, it was a miracle. There truly are, help resources out there. And I hope people can feel empowered to try to get some of those.
Now, we have plenty of links on how to apply for rent assistance in Oregon and Washington. That's all at kgw.com. A public memorial is set for tomorrow for the Clark County detective shot and killed in the line of duty. Sergeant Jeremy Brown was shot inside his car last month while doing surveillance outside of an apartment in Vancouver. His memorial is tomorrow at A. Linnae Casino in Ridgefield at 1 p.m. We will have live coverage on this throughout the afternoon and on KGW.com. The man suspected of killing Sergeant Brown, Guillermo Rea Leon, is currently in the Clark County Jail. Well, the Bootleg Fire in southern Oregon is 84% contained now, but there are still two areas of concern. In the northwest corner of the fire, authorities say that the fire could expand to Yamsey Mountain, and the northeast corner is challenging because of spot fires. These fires could grow and impact Summer Lake and Highway 31. Firefighters are working to keep the fire contained, but it likely won't be all the way extinguished until we get more rain in the fall. In Northeast Portland last night, a huge crowd gathered for illegal street racing. Even though neighbors complain that it happens often, police tell us they can't respond. Joe Ranieri explains.
For more than 3 hours Sunday night, a huge crowd gathered to watch illegal street racing at the intersection of Columbia and MLK Boulevard in Northeast Portland. The street was blocked and fireworks were set off. Monday morning, you could still see the skid marks left behind.
I mean, it happens. You hear the cars racing by late at night. Yeah.
Do you hear it a lot?
Yeah, it's like every weekend. I don't really actually really see it. I hear it because I'm usually inside my house when that happens. But yeah, it's definitely loud noises, a lot of it.
At a nearby motel, the manager says this happens a couple times a month. She gave us this cell phone video of what happened last night. The large crowd blocked the street and created a traffic jam from about 9 to midnight, and the police didn't show up.
These are in-the-moment decisions that supervisors make. Can we intervene somehow safely? Can we serve the community somehow safely in order to make it better?
Lieutenant Greg Pashley says because there was no threat to lives, police policy is not to respond. Officers did respond in November of last year. Police came out to the same intersection during another street race, and more than a dozen were arrested. The difference last year, there was a traffic division.
They were able to coordinate, collaborate with patrol, bring resources to bear that we don't have to offer right now.
The street race in Northeast wasn't the only one in Portland Sunday night. A witness took video of another in Southeast at 48th and Division. Lieutenant Pashley says police don't track statistics on street racing and admits a lack of personnel to deal with complaints is having an impact.
And it's difficult for us as the police, and we know that it's difficult for the community.
In Northeast Portland, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.